What's up guys, my name is Guillaume, this is Thomann's Guitars and Basses, and today we hit the tone on the song Hit the Floor by Linkin Park. Hello guys, I hope you're doing fantastic today. In this series, I show you how to get the sounding and the playing right on your favorite songs. So do let me know in the comment section which one you want me to cover next, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. But today, we're focusing on the song Hit the Floor by Linkin Park, starting with the guitar setup. And obviously we're talking about Linkin Park's guitar player Brad Delson, and the cool thing is that he's been super consistent throughout the years by using PRS guitars. So this is what I'm taking today, and this is the McCarthy 594. It doesn't need to be that one in particular, but I feel like if you're a die-hard Linkin Park kind of fan, PRS guitars are the thing. They're what you need. But we're talking about a pretty heavy band, so I think as long as you have like a dual humbucker guitar, you should be fine just to cover that song or play along with it. So this is going to be my guitar for the day, and I'll be using both the bridge pickup for the main riff and the neck pickup for the intro, sort of really lo-fi, growly kind of sound. So my bridge will be all the way up on volume and tone, and my neck pickup will be just maybe on 4 or 5 on the volume. And I'll show you how to get from one to the other very soon. But right now we're going to talk about our amp and pedal setup. And Linkin Park is definitely the sound of the early, like late 90s, early 2000s, one of the, new metal bands kind of a thing, because they were mixing a lot of rapping, a lot of singing, a lot of screaming. It was such it is such an incredible band to this day. But there is a very specific recipe in terms of guitar sounds as to how you get there, and is you put a PRS into a Mesa Boogie dual or triple rectifier. And that was it. Now, at least that was it live. And that's where my concern is. There are very few occurrences where I know for sure that a Mesa Boogie was the only amp recorded in the studio, because they usually pair really well with other amps, namely Marshalls, because those will help the Mesa sort of get out the mix. They're really scooped, and that's why they're rarely used alone, and they'll be mixed with something else or put into like a different sort of power amp. So I'm trying to emulate that today using the Marshall Mark II Studio, which is a mini plexi. I'm using it as a clean pedal platform, but just giving it a little bit more mids than my Mesa type preamp, which is going to be the OnePlus Sovereign, which is growing on me like no other pedal. It is such a cool high gain, very American sounding pedal. It's a lot more versatile, I would say, than just the Mesa, because it does have the low end, like the growl of it, but it also has a lot more control over the mids, which is really cool. Something that you might want to add as well is a noise gate. If you have one, if you want to put it in the loop of your amp, that might be a really cool trick, because the sound is really compressed and almost like it sounds kind of gated. So you could add that. It's definitely not necessary, but just so you know. But yeah, basically putting that pedal into the clean-ish Marshall is going to get me to that sound. I love this sound. Absolutely love it. It's not too scooped. And I think that's really something you need to pay attention to, because in the studio at least, it's been mixed in a way. If it's just a Mesa, I'm, color me surprised, but it is mixed in a way that, you still have those mids, and it's still like coming out of that mix, like that massive guitar sound. And I absolutely love it. So I think this is getting pretty close. Obviously, you might want to go, if you can, go with a dual amp kind of setup, or maybe just use an EQ pedal in front of a Mesa, or mix the Mesa a little bit differently. There are many ways to go about it. So everything that I'm using today is linked in the description box below. I'll put more recommendations of different kind of pedals or amps that might work for that sound as well. But with that said, let's jump onto the final part of the video, which as usual is the most important and is how to play the riff. Starting as usual with a few notes and mostly the tuning in our specific context right now, because that song is tuned in drop C sharp. So drop D flat, whichever you prefer really. But that means that you take your E standard tuned guitar, you detune, like you drop all the strings half a step down, and then you drop the low E flat a full step down to C sharp. Keep in mind that you might have to change your strings for something that's a little bit thicker, like 11 to 50 kind of a string gauge. And although the tabs will be on the screen while the lesson is happening, they will also be linked in the description box if you want to spend some more time just reading them and learning them. But with that said, let's have a look at how you can play that riff exactly. It's that simple. It's super easy to play. It's just, the drop tuning bar chord, power chord, or however you want to call it. Just put your finger there and move it around, and that's it. But that riff is so powerful. It's so iconic. I just really love it. If you're starting guitar and you're going into metal, or like in the direction of metal at least, this is a really, really cool riff for you to try out different tunings, try out that magical drop tuning power chord as well. But on that, I think that's it, guys. You have all the tools you need to hit the tone on Hit the Floor by Linkin Park. As usual, I hope that video was useful and that maybe you've learned something today. And if so, if you can consider liking it, that would be incredible. Don't forget to let me know in the comments which song you'd like me to do next, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. In the meantime, I wish you all a fantastic week, and I'll see you next Monday in a new episode of Hit the Tone.